Joining us is JJ Kinahan from TD Ameritrade.
Hello,
First of all, talk about the sentiment exactly, because what we've seen from some of the fund flows is increasing pessimism.
Well, so this measures people who've made a trade at least once during the month. And so people who are engaging with the market. And what we're seeing is that people are stepping up the last 2 months. Now, not like last year. Last year, every single month, people increased their exposure to the market. This year, we actually started on a negative note for the first 4 months. Last two, slightly more exposure to the market overall. So I think that's interesting. The one stock that's been consistent so far this year has been Netflix. They've been buyers of Netflix almost every single month. It's worked out well, I'm happy to report. But I think that's been really interesting. And another stock that's gotten a lot of interest has been AT&T.
Okay.
Which I think is
positive interest.
Very positive interest, which I think is kind of interesting given all that they were going through before. But I think part of that, now that you're talking about a 6% yield, basically, I think part of it may be a yield play as we've continued to see a flattening of the yield curve.
Was that after the Time Warner decision from the judge?
This month it was one of our top, but for these first 6 months it has been a buy on and off the list. Different months. For June, absolutely. Throughout the month they were buyers of AT&T.
Talk about the sentiment with clients on that yield point relative to sort of the 10-year or whatever. We've been wondering, okay, as we get to close to 3%, does that take the attraction away from stocks? And it sounds like it's not.
It's not at all, because again, we've had trouble keeping it. Now, the one area where a lot of people will also look, and they'll say on the energy stocks, they often have nice yields. But this month we saw sellers of ExxonMobil, which is a stock that people in the past had gone to for not only to play crude oil, but also for some yield. And I think what's happened there is just the crude oil movement during June just got too great for many people to continue to handle.
People buying the banks for yield, following and capital return generally, following the CCAR.
Not to an abnormal level. Let's put it that way, Wilfred. It's been about middle of the pack for the banks.
Are you surprised to see the buyers step in at a time where trade tensions and headlines appear to be getting worse?
Yeah. What's interesting to me is one of the other stocks they bought was GM. And I found that to be quite surprising considering all that the auto makers had gone through in June. And actually for the first 6 months, Ford had been a stock that people had bought. So again, I find that very interesting that during this time, people are willing to go in and buy some stocks like that. But as I said, for the first 6 months, if I look back, Netflix buying because of perhaps what's going on with AT&T, because of what's going on with Disney and Fox.
What about the other things?
Well, Facebook has been and Apple are two of our biggest sales so far in the first 6 months. Now, with me saying that, please keep in mind, Apple's also our #1 holding overall, but Facebook has been a consistent sale 5 of the first 6 months of the year. One interesting caveat on that, our millennial clients actually last month, it was the biggest difference between them and our regular clients. Our millennial clients were net buyers by a bigger percentage than they've ever been. They bought Microsoft in a big way, and they didn't sell Facebook as aggressively. Our overall client base has been selling Facebook actually fairly aggressively as it continues to hit a highs.
JJ, fascinating stuff.
Thanks,
we will leave it there, though, this afternoon.
Great to be here.
We look forward to seeing you again soon. JJ Kinahan.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.